Hey, and welcome to Tea of Life podcast. If we haven't met yet, my name is Tiffany, and I'm so glad that you're here. In my last podcast, I referenced Matthew 7, 13, and 14. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. If you haven't heard that episode yet, I'll put a link to that in the description below. In that episode, I talked about how the road to fulfilling your God-given purpose isn't paved with ease, comfort, or convenience. It's narrow, it's winding, and it's often uphill. Culture sells the idea of quick success, instant breakthroughs, and painless transformation. But the truth is, there's no shortcuts to what God has destined you for. I also referenced the song No Easy Way Out from the Rocky IV soundtrack, which wrestles with the pain of change and the desire to escape it. But faith reminds us that growth is costly and purpose demands persistence. Obedience calls for sacrifice, and shortcuts often lead to shallow victories. But the narrow path leads to life, not just survival, but real, abundant, meaningful life. A few questions that we can reflect on this week are, am I choosing comfort over calling? Am I tempted to rush a process that God wants me to walk through slowly? And what shortcuts am I being tempted to take right now? Even when it's hard, we need to keep showing up. We need to keep saying yes to what God is asking us to do. And as we enter this Holy Week, leading up to our celebration of the resurrection of Christ, I can't help but think of the path that Jesus chose for us. Matthew 26:39 and Luke 22:42 refers to Jesus' agony and the suffering that he was about to endure on the cross. He made a request for God to spare him from the ordeal, but ultimately he submits to God's will, and this single act of Jesus changed the trajectory of all mankind. As referenced in Matthew 7, the path that the Lord calls us to walk may be narrow, but God walks it with us, and he will not abandon us. There may be no easy way out, but there's always God's way through. So that's all that I have for you today, but I want to say thank you so much for listening and for being a part of this community. If you'd like to hear more, you can find more about my podcast on any podcasting platform, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also subscribe straight from my website. So if you go to teaoflifepodcast.com, you can scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and you'll see some subscription options there. You can also subscribe by email, and every time I drop a new episode, it'll come straight to your email inbox. Then there will be a play button in that email where you can listen straight from that email. I want to make this as easy for you as possible to subscribe and listen. So thank you so much for being here today, and I hope that this has encouraged you to transform every area of your life.